I saw Tom Paris break the warp threshold. What? It's Comics and Shots, a completely improvised, semi-comedic musing by Howard Stern's Mick the Nerd, a.k.a. YouTube and TikTok's Mick the Man, a.k.a. Mick the Maverick, a.k.a. Seriously, what? That episode was weirder than I thought it was gonna be. So, I knew there was gonna be salamanders, but what? Today's subject: Death Note, Bleach, and other manga, and the concept of Shinigami and how it has evolved and changed throughout pop culture. The Shinigami, known as Death God, is not a formal deity. It is something that exists in Japanese mythology, based on several concepts from Shintoism and Buddhism. Izanami, the queen of the Shinto kami, is thought to be of like a Shinigami herself, the person who created death, as well as King Yama, the lord of the underworld, and the horse head and ox head Oni, said to be Shinigami themselves. And in most of these legends, Shinigami do not guide souls from the dead to the afterlife. They cause them to die, cause them to go through accidents, cause them to unalive themselves, all sorts of that. If that sounds like Death Note, it's because Death Note was weirdly accurate in that regard. Yeah, see, like the Ryuk, all the Shinigami in that series, they were based on the more traditional aspect of the Shinigami, in that they would cause death rather than be traditional Grim Reapers. Now, Grim Reapers in like a Japanese mythology didn't really exist until like 1945, like post-war Japan. The concept of a Shinigami guiding a soul to the afterlife rather than causing their demise, their doom. Like, that is a much more modern thing than what they have going on originally. Like, the Shinigami from Bleach, they're based more on the modern version of it, yeah. The Death Scythes from, like, Soul Eater, kind of, well... Is there even an afterlife in that show? That just opens up a lot of questions. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, and legends like that change over time. They just, like, change that, then they are adopted from other cultures and brought into it. Yeah, like, King Yama, he's, like, a pretty popular god himself, appearing in, like, things like Dragon Ball and Yu Yu Hakusho and, like, a billion other things. Shinigami, though, as they are themselves, usually just basically Grim Reapers, you know? Botan from, like, Yu Yu Hakusho, Rukia from Bleach, other things. That, what was that thing? It was a crappy rom-com one about, like, a love note or something. I don't know. Yeah. These myths change over time. I pulled a Will Shatner there. Yeah. Similarly, the Oni itself also changed a lot over time. You know about remember like the ogres as they're called in Dragon Ball. They all had like gym clothes on for some reason. Yeah. Originally, Oni, they're derived from Onimoji, like meaning invisible. They were like formless, like beings of destruction and despair. And then I believe they would gain like more like devil horns and fangs, similar to Judeo-Christian demons. Those what was originally a invisible, formless concept ended up gaining form based on Western influence. Things changing over time. So a million ways you can look at that, like Western domination of other cultures, or just merely cultural assimilation. You can see it as a good thing, you can see it as a bad thing, you can see it as a lot of ways. And, you know, I'm big into Don to Don, and that focuses on, like, urban legends of itself. Like, one thing they'll get to later is the Slipmouth Woman. That's a very popular one these days. These legends constantly changing over time, constantly being added. I'm a New Jerseyan warrior myself. We got the Jersey Devil, Captain Kidd, all that good stuff. Legends, stories, mythology, they all change and adapt over time, and that reflects in the pop culture. Especially in Japan, who are all big about like yokai and everything. And I bring this up with Ryuk and Rukia. Ryuk and Rukia, holy crap, they both... I wonder if that was intentional. It'd be weird if it was us. They're like two flop sides of the same coin. One is more technically traditional, one is more technically different. But both are interesting. Both are different takes on the lore, on the mythology, that go in different ways. I feel Rukia could have gone in a lot more interesting ways, as well as Shinigami in general. Not just Rukia. Like, it got weird. There's a reason why they call them Soul Reapers in, like, the English version. It's not just Americanization. It's mostly because they're not really gods of death, are they? They don't really cause death. They just deal with it. That's neither here nor there. Point is, there's a lot of different ways to look at legends and myths and adapt them. I hope we keep looking at things different ways and making new things out of them for years to come. With that, like, comment, and subscribe. Donate if you're feeling nice. Share it with a bear. And always remember, praise be to the blood elk, fear the stabopotamus, and death to Kronos. Ugh. Ooh. Tom Paris's whininess didn't help that episode at all. I wouldn't be the one to make the threshold ink. Shut up, Tom. Have a night, folks.